Cubs are off today, and they'll take on the White Sox tomorrow. We'll get into that. But let's talk about the pitching situation right now. Shota Imanaga still on the IL, but expected to be back sometime soon. And then Justin Steele out right now for the entire season. Is there a deal that the Cubs could make to add an ace to this rotation? And there's one name that I want to talk about, and that's Sandy Alcantara. What would that look like? He's off to a horrible start this year. But why might he still be someone the Cubs are interested in? We're going to get into that. And Dansby Swanson, I hope he's turning the corner because he's been playing a lot better. At least he's been hitting a lot better for the Cubs as we get ready to take on the Sox in the Crosstown matchup, the Crosstown Cup. Hey, guys, thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. And we got a promo code for you, and we're going to have a great show. So let's get this thing started. Go Cubs. Hey everybody, Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel. We try to get on here every day and talk about your favorite team, the Chicago Cubs. My favorite team, too. But thank you for being here. At Broadcaster Mick, longtime Cubs fan, and enjoy getting on here every day, or at least we try to do it every day, and talking about the Cubs and what this team's going to look like down the road. A loss to the Marlins. They didn't get the sweep, but I thought they had an excellent series. Ran into some good pitching, and one guy that they couldn't get out, and the offense kind of slowed down a little bit, and the Cubs obviously came up short, and now they'll get ready to take on the White Sox. The good thing, though, is when you win series, that's going to stack up for you, and obviously they've been winning a lot of series lately. All right, let's talk about, is there a deal to be made for starting pitching? Justin Steele is out. Shota Imanaga on the 15-day IL. Is he going to be ready to go when he's available to come back? I don't know. I don't think any of us know. And the Cubs have actually, look, Jameson Taillon didn't get the win, but he pitched well enough to get the win. When your team gives up 3 runs, you're supposed to put those in the W bag, right? But at the end of the day, look, what are we looking at right now? And is there something out there that the Cubs could do to help the starting rotation? Now, the problem is that there's not a lot of starting pitching that's going to be available this early. We're talking about it here on May 15th, right? So, what's that going to look like in another month? What's that going to look like in July? And that's the problem that the Cubs have, is that they want starting pitching. The Yankees want starting pitching. Other teams want starting pitching. The Cubs have the prospects to make a deal, but who are they going to make a deal with, and who's willing to trade pitching? We talked about the Padres at the beginning of the season with King and Cease, but, they're contending. They got a pretty good team. And even though Cease would have been the guy that I could have totally seen the Cubs going out there and getting, that's not going to happen right now. And they may not even make that happen at all. They feel like they could beat anybody, and they can. They're one of the best teams in baseball, and they've got some great pitching. The Marlins are the team that I would target if I was the Cubs. We just saw them. They've got really, they're not going to be in the mix for anything this year, unless some kind of miracle happens. And the guy that everybody's looking at is Sandy Alcantara. Yankees are reportedly interested in Alcantara. Obviously, the Cubs would love to have a starting pitcher. This is a former Cy Young Award winner, right? 29 years old, won the Cy Young Award in 22. That season, he had a 2.28 ERA through 220 innings. He had command, power, durability. He was really good. But then he missed all of last year with Tommy John surgery, and now we're looking at a guy that's got a 2-3 record and an 8.31 ERA in 26 innings, and that's in 6 starts, right? And his velocity hasn't returned yet. Plus, on top of that, he signed through 26 with a team option for 2027 at $21 million. So he's expensive. I think that look, he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. So what scouts are looking at right now is, and this is kind of common with Tommy John guys, is when it all starts coming back. When you see what I like to call touch and feel. I think that the velo is important, but it's also just the touch and feel that it takes when you're coming back from Tommy John. Like when you just, you get back to great pitchers like what Alcantara looked like in 2022, where he's just able to command the ball. It comes out of his hand different. And that happens a lot of times after these guys get back. They have a slow start. So that's what all these scouts are looking at. And that's something that the Cubs need to look at. Hey, is there going to come a point where, okay, yeah, he's kind of feeling it now. He's doing his thing. And then going out there and making a deal. The Cubs have the prospects to make this trade. I don't think many teams have a better player than Owen Casey that they could possibly flip. Obviously James Triantos, Kevin Alcantara, the outfielder. Maybe and there's other guys out there too, but you're talking about some of the top end prospects. And the Marlins have been smart over the years making trades for players. Now, when you make a trade like this, a lot of times you want pitching back. I don't know that the Cubs have pitching prospects. They're not going to give up Cade Horton. But, at the end of the day, I feel like the Cubs have the ability to go out and make a deal like this because of those prospects. But you just want to, you've got to, it's a risk. You've got to be sure that Alcantara is ready to go out there and be the guy that he was before. The problem that the Cubs have is that it's May and a lot of teams are still in the mix. When are these teams going to say, okay, we're ready to jump out and make a deal? And the only way that you're going to get it done early is you just make a trade that's so tantalizing that they're like, look, we kind of in or out, but we're going to be out on this just because we want to get these players back that you have.
They say baseball season is a marathon and not a sprint. And that's great news for us because there's so many games to bet on. Don't miss a second of the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. From every game day until the champagne pops and the trophy is lifted, DraftKings Sportsbook has got you covered with same-game parlays, odds boosts, and so much more. There's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use our code CBC. Cubs Baseball Channel, CBC. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use my promo code CBC and bet $5, just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code CBC, Cubs Baseball Channel, CBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Again, our promo code is CBC, Cubs Baseball Channel, DraftKings. We appreciate them for being part of what we do here. All right, let's talk about options, internal options for the Cubs if they're not able to go out there and bring out Sandy Alcantara, or they can, somebody's willing to give up one of their ace pitchers at this point in time. Bad news for the Cubs, and that's Javier Assad is on the 60-day IL. He was trying to come back, and it just didn't work out. He just got re-injured, so they're shutting him down, right? You better hope that Jordan Wicks continues to do the things that he's doing in Iowa. He gives you an option. We've talked about Chris Flexen, who's been in the bullpen. I think Cade Horton, though, I know he gave up a home run in that start against the Mets, but he ended up getting the win in relief. They're going to bring him in the same way they did Ben Brown. He's more talented than any of the prospects that the Cubs have, and he is a difference maker. And the Cubs have to have their fingers crossed that it doesn't take him that long to make the adjustments. I think he's the biggest asset that they have right now as far as replacing Justin Steele. You got to get through at least another month, I think, at least into the middle of June before teams would really start to seriously think about trading away the type of talent that you want. And the Cubs are going to have pitching to win the World Series. If that's the goal this year, then they're going to have pitching. So, we'll see what happens. But at this point in time, there's not a lot of options. I mean, you could go get Crochet from the White Sox. Would they be willing to make a trade? Yeah, it's always tough to make a trade with them. They look like the Cardinals were going to fall out of it. Now, all of a sudden, they're playing pretty good baseball, and they've won some games, and they're back in the mix. So we just have such a long way to go. I feel like the Marlins are a team that's already out of it, but I still think they're going to wait. And Bob Nightingale basically said that their plan is to wait until July and that they want a Juan Soto type of deal to get Alcantara. But they need him to have better than an 8 ERA, or nobody's going to want to give up anything to get him. Last thing I wanted to get into on the show today was Dansby Swanson. I feel like, and you guys know this, I've said this many times, and I believe this, that Dansby Swanson is the most important player on this team. And that's because he's got the best contract of anybody on this team, $177 million. April, he was batting 188, and he struck out 34 times and only walked 6. He was hitting for a little bit of power, but all of a sudden, he has just got it going. Batting over 400 over the last 2 weeks. Some home runs. He hit 4 of them, 8 RBIs. You hope that this is something that he'll be able to continue to do, because the Cubs definitely need him to do this. He's the leader of the team, and he's good on defense, and he runs the bases well. His leadership's great. You can tell he keeps the clubhouse loose. I saw him making fun of Pete Crow Armstrong for that dive where he wasn't near the ball. I love that about him. He seems like a really cool guy. And then look, they've got a giveaway where it's a visor with his hair, which is pretty cool. But you got to hit. And when he hits, this team is a ton better. Makes the lineup that much better. And you're getting production from a lot of people in the lineup. But with Ian Happ on the IL, it would be great for Dansby Swanson to continue the hitting. Cubs need him to hit. He's going to be around for a while, and he's someone that we all pull for. So, hopefully that continues as well. All right, off today. Cubs back at it on Friday, and it is going to be a 120 game at Wrigley Field against the White Sox. 14-29 White Sox. Cubs are 25-19, and it'll be for the Sox pitching. It'll be Shane Smith. He's a 6'3", 240-pound right-hander with a 1-2 record and a 2.08 ERA in 8 starts. So that's Smith for the Sox, and then the Cubs will challenge with Cade Horton, 1-0 record, 6.75 ERA. How about that? First game in New York against the Mets. Second game, hey, have fun facing the White Sox at Wrigley. It's going to be crazy at the friendly confines. We'll talk more about this on Friday, but there you go. Really, really excited to see what he's able to do, and the Cubs need him to step it up. And if he's able to do that, then that could answer the very question of this show today. What do you do to replace Justin Steele? And honestly, until Shota Imanaga's back, he's not back. But the rotation really hasn't taken a hit. But you just know that there's a potential for it. And I think that's why we're getting into it right now. But guys, thanks for being here. Like and subscribe, thumbs up. I ask you guys to do that every day. And then the other thing is take advantage of our promo code CBC DraftKings right now. It's like I said, if it's your first time, $5 gets you $200. and bonus bets. Take advantage of it. We appreciate them for sponsoring our channel, our little channel, getting sponsored by DraftKings. How cool is that? We'll talk about this more. Get in the comments section. Again, thank you. And it's a great day to be a Cubs fan. And I hear from a lot of you guys, you're pretty fired up about this team, and I think you should be. It's a lot of fun watching these guys go out and play. And I can't wait to do it again on Friday. Go Cubs.